Ta-da! We have a polytunnel! So if you're new here, you won't know the sagas of the polytunnel. But basically, we had a very cheap polytunnel last winter that we just kept the goats in just initially to keep the rain off, and it blew away in the middle of the night. And then we didn't sell our house, we had no money. So we now have this beautiful commercial polytunnel. It's been a labour of love putting it up. I did take loads of footage of the process and then I promptly lost it. So I'm afraid I'm just going to have a few photos and I'm going to explain about the polytunnel, and then I'll show you me planting it up. So it's 16 foot by 24 foot long, so it's on the smaller side of the polytunnel scale, but for me that's perfect because I don't want a huge one. I would rather have a couple of smaller ones. We've not trimmed all the plastic off the edges yet. I've kind of left it there. The way the plastic is put on, it's battened underneath, but I quite like that extra little bit of plastic that I can put stuff over just to give it a little bit of extra strength as well. And then here it is. Absolutely sweltering, of course. And we have started planting. So we've got our first row of tomatoes in. We are preparing for the second row of tomatoes. And then we need to work out how we're going to hang more tomato strips, tomato strings from the ceiling. So at Brimwood Farm, we use the no-dig method. So we put cardboard down directly on top of the grass, and then we put soil on top of that, and then we plant into it. Now, in an ideal world, I would have completely done this entire polytunnel first with cardboard and then soil. But it's not an ideal world, and we ran out of time. To save these poor tomatoes being in their paper pots for any longer than necessary, I whacked down some cardboard and then I put the tomatoes on top, and then I've just made little mounds of compost. Now that's going to dry out really quickly because it's just a mound rather than full surface. So it's not going to stay like that, but just to get all the tomatoes in and spaced, and then I will go over the entire thing and put compost in between. Now, considering the neglect the tomatoes have, they haven't actually done too badly. We've also already got some flowers coming on, and then down here we've already got some fruit, which is fantastic. Now, to put these side ones in, all I've done is I've hammered in a small nail to the button on the side and put a string that comes up and it ties onto this support here. For the top battening, what I'm thinking is I need to run a line from this batten across to the top batten to make a trellis that way, and then I can run strings this way to get another probably 2 rows in. But before we do that, I'm going to salvage a few more tomatoes and I'm going to plant up this line and put in all the supports and the struts. It's ludicrously hot in here. Even little tomatoes on it. Last one. I want to say something quickly about the paper pots. I took direction from Serena and Ian over at You Can't Eat the Grass, and this is the first year I did paper pots, and they are marvellous. This root ball has just been held together with a piece of paper, which is awesome. I would suggest you put them in long before they get to this stage though. I would also suggest, if you have a polytunnel, don't wait to the height of summer to put your plants in, because I am dying. Okay, so we've got 12 down here, and then these are the 12 we just planted. So we've got 24 so far. That's about a third of my tomato plants in here, but I haven't put my cucumbers in, my peppers, or my aubergines. I haven't transferred any of those. But for now, I'm going to go and rehydrate before I come back and water those plants to rehydrate them. Well, it's actually been a couple of days because it has been unbelievably hot, and I could not come in here because I would have just melted away. And the weather is cooler today. Actually, there's some thunder going on, so I'm hoping we're going to get some rain. And I'm going to start putting some trellising in for the next rows of tomatoes. I have started, and you can kind of see it. Yeah, so I've got these lines along here. So what I've done is I've put a line all the way along, and then I've got lines coming across. However, this is that flimsy garden plastic stuff, and I just don't think it is going to hold. There's going to be some quite big tomato vines growing up there. I don't think it's going to hold. So what I've done, I should say actually what Sard did, was he went and bought me some jute twine. So I'm going to put it up along this side, and then we'll get the next lot of tomatoes in. And hopefully that thunder is going to bring some rain, because we desperately, desperately need it. Okay, jute is done. It's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see it's crisscrossing on the top of the polytunnel there. So next, I'm going to go and get some more cardboard to put down here, and then I'll put the next row of tomatoes in. I'm not yet entirely sure how I'm going to string from up here down. I may have to tie the bottoms of the string to pieces of brick just to give that kind of strength, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, second row in. So I did it exactly the same way as I did the others. I've made the piles, and then I'll fill all of this in with soil eventually, and I'll probably intercrop it with basil or something. The only thing I did differently was this time I had to put a brick on to string it, so it strings all the way up to here. And you can see I've started to twine the tomatoes around. So it's gradually taking shape. I've got 2 rows over here. I'll put another row in here, and then I'll probably have 6 rows in total, I would think. So I'm going to try and put another row in here, and then I don't know, the 2 other rows I'll probably put next to them, so I've got a bit of an aisle down the middle. But we'll see, because again, it depends on the supports. It depends on how much weight they're going to be able to take. I may have to put kind of an aisle here, and then an aisle here, and then the final 2 rows in the middle, so that they can use this top bar as a support. Actually, that's actually way more sensible, because I can then tie the strings directly onto the top bar. So I'm going to do that. I'll do an aisle, I'll do 2 rows and an aisle, 2 rows and an aisle, and then final 2 rows down the middle. But for now, I need to go and get some more compost, some more bricks, and continue planting away. Also, big news, we finally have our honesty box stand out. I'm growing farm-grown bouquets for £10 each. These are just ones I've made up today. We've got eggs
I thought you might be interested in the prices. So 12 quail eggs for £2, hen eggs for £1, and we'll have duck eggs for £2 as well. We've got some cornflower posies. They're just for £2 and a few sweet peas. Honesty box is just on the side here. And these are our veg. So at the moment we've just got lettuces. I've already sold some and they're £1.50 each, or they're 2 for £2. What I've done here is I've got a tea towel, and then underneath here I have ice blocks. So that just helps keep them fresh. So what I did, I took them home, I put the ice box into this polystyrene box, a little bit of water in the bottom, and they perked up totally fine overnight. Because I don't have a cool room or any fridge space really, I'm going to use this method. It worked really well. Obviously, lettuce and things won't keep for ages, but they'll keep long enough. And obviously I'm hoping stuff won't be on the farm stand for that long. So there it is. And we've already sold some lettuce heads, so that's a great start.